In this video, we will show how to create a survey on InforUMobile. We will start by logging in the platform and clicking on the Surveys icon on the home screen. This will lead us to the Surveys module where we will click the Create New Survey button. Next, we will choose one of the templates the platform offers. This will bring us to the editing space. The space is divided into 3 parts. Under the right tab, we have everything that has to do with the mobile version of the survey. Next to it, we have the desktop version. And on the left, we have general settings that have to do both with the desktop and the mobile versions. In the center, we have the stage. The stage includes the various elements that add up to the survey. The red grid lines indicate the borders of each element. Each element can be moved around the stage simply by dragging and dropping it. To the right of the stage, we have the control menu. To add new elements to the survey, all we need to do is drag and drop the elements from the menu into the stage. When hovering over the elements in the stage, the action items appear. Each element can be duplicated, it can be deleted, and of course it can be edited. To edit the element, we will press the button, and the element attributes will appear on the left. Okay, now that we've laid the foundation, let's start editing our survey top to bottom. First, we'll take care of the logo image. To replace the image the template gave us, we will press on the editing button, and then on Choose File to upload a file from our computer. The browser has opened, we'll choose our logo, press Save, and immediately we'll see the new logo that we just uploaded within our survey page. If we'd like to remove the shade from the background, we'll simply go to the image attributes, press on Edit Background, and choose a white color. Press OK, and we will see it updated in the stage. Moving on, let's take care of the title that appears above the questionnaire. We'll press on the editing button. The attributes will appear on the left. To change the text, we'll press on Edit Text. Editing the text is simple. We'll stand on it and insert the alternative text we wish to use. The text can be typed in the window or simply copy-pasted as shown here. Once the text is inserted, we can change its design. We can change the font size, we can change the color, we can change the font type, and use the various buttons available in the toolbar to help us in shaping the text and forming it the way we wish. Once we're done, we'll press on OK. Changing the text background color is easy as well. We'll simply press on Edit Background, choose the white color, press OK, and immediately our new background will be reflected within the text box in the survey. Let's move on now to taking care of the main part of the survey, the questionnaire itself. So to start off, we'll press on the editing button. The questionnaire attributes appear now on the left. These include the questions that comprise the survey. They include design options, everything that has to do with the submit button, and the thank you page. Each question can be moved around the survey simply by dragging and dropping. It can be duplicated and deleted. For any question we consider as a must to be answered, we'll tick the required box. To edit a question, we'll simply stand on the field and change the value. Or press on the editing button where it appears. This will open the editing window. In it, we will find the question phrasing, which we can change as we see fit. We have the rating scale, along with the rating values. We can easily determine if we'd like the rating name to appear on top of the rating scale simply by checking and unchecking the visibility box. And the same applies to the visibility of the rating value within the selection buttons. Adding any rating option to the scale is simple, and so is deleting any option if not needed. Every component in this window is editable, and anything we change will be immediately reflected in the preview panel here below. Another very nice feature we have here has to do with notifications. The platform allows us to receive a unique notification whenever a respondent has responded an answer we're interested of being notified of. The notification will be sent to an email address of our choice, and this will allow us to know online if any extreme answers have been received. This is especially useful in regards to negative answers in case answered. We'll determine the specific email address on the settings screen, which we'll see a bit later during the video. I'll just specify here that the platform sends notifications on any questionnaire that is sent, and we will see how to set that up in the settings screen. The notification here has to do with a specific answer if replied within a specific question. So these are two different levels of notifications. Up until now, we've discussed how to edit the content of the question, whether it is the phrasing of the question or the rating scale and how it's built. Let's move on now to discuss the visibility of the question. Everything that has to do with the design and color setting can be found here on the right of the window. The design settings are divided into groups. We can open each separately or all of them together by pressing the color picker. Let's demonstrate a few of them. To change the question color, I'll go to question color, more colors, and we'll pick the color of my choice. The color has been updated in the preview panel. I'll now move on to changing the color of the naming. As we did before, updated. I'll move on to taking care of the separation line, and from here to taking care of the selection buttons. I can also set the colors of the buttons once they are selected. From here, I'll go back to the preview. I will see that everything is in order, including what happens when a respondent presses a button in order to reply to the question. Once done, I'll press on Save. This will bring me back to the survey page where I will see the question incorporated. Moving on. To add a question that does not currently appear in the survey, we'll press on Add. This will open a window with a very large amount of question types we can simply choose from and insert by clicking the type we wish to add. Once added in, we'll move the question to the place we wish to place it in, and we will edit it. Once it is saved, the question will appear in the survey. So far, our survey includes a rating question, an options box, a multi-line text, radio buttons, a text field, an email field, and a number field. Let's now insert a new form of question, a slider. The slider has been inserted in the survey. We're going to want to move it around and edit it, the result of which will be this. Another interesting type of question we can add is the matrix. The matrix allows asking a question on more than one level. For example, here we could ask, how would you rate your customer experience, both on a professional level and from a service point of view? And the same question applies before buying and after buying. So in this sense, the survey module offers us a wealth of options of how to ask our questions and how to obtain the information that's important to us. Let's move on to discuss the Submit button. The button that appears at the end of the survey and on which our respondents will press in order to send their replies. We can change the call to action text and it will be updated instantaneously on the survey page. And we can change the design. We can pick a color combination, we can upload a file from our computer, or we could pick an image from our button gallery. We'll select the image, press save, and the button will be updated on the survey page. Last but not least, let's move on to talk about the thank you page. The page our respondents will reach once they press on the submit button. To edit it, we'll press the button. This will bring us to the editing space of the thank you page. Editing the thank you page is very much similar to editing the survey page. We have the different elements on the stage, everything can be moved around, we can take elements from the menu and drag them into the stage, and the editing options are available on the left. Once we're done editing, we'll press save and return to the main page. After putting together our survey page, we can move on. The stage gives us a good indication of what our survey looks like, but if we're curious to know what it would look like on a real mobile phone, all we have to do is press on preview. If we're interested in a desktop version of our survey, we'll press on the Edit Desktop Version tab. Editing the desktop version is very much similar to editing the mobile version. Otherwise, let's move on to speak about the survey settings. The settings screen includes a lot of options. Let's focus on a few of them. Managing the responses. We have 3 options to receive the responses from the people who reply to our survey. The first is a periodical response report that will be sent to a designated email every few days, as we will set. The second is an on-time alert by email on each and every survey that has been received. The third is the possibility to receive the responses by API. These will be sent to a designated URL we will set in this box here. Now remember, we talked earlier about the managerial alerts on particular replies we want to be notified of online, assuming these are extreme replies. Well, if we're interested in that, we will set the email address and email subject line here, and by this we will set the email alert on these particular replies. Of course, all the information that is received is stored on the platform. These are just push notifications in case we're interested in them. We will soon move on to the reports and see how the information is stored there. Apart from the notifications, there are a few actions that can be done following the receipt of a response. We can, for example, send an SMS to each respondent after they submit the survey. We can add the respondent's details to a contact list. For example, all my contacts that have actually responded to the survey I sent them. Once we're done setting the various settings, we'll press on Save. This will lead us to the approval screen where we will publish our survey and receive the links to it, the long URL and the short one to serve us in SMS texts. Let's move on now to talk about the reports and the statistic analysis of our questionnaire. The report screen shows us the various surveys we've built on the platform. We can see the name of the survey, its status, whether it was published or not, how many views it has accumulated, how many questionnaires were actually filled, and what was the conversion rate. We'll press on the Statistics button and go to the screen in which we'll be able to see the data in more details. We have here a representation of all the questions that were included in the questionnaire. For each question we can see the phrasing, we can see how many people responded to it and how many skipped it. Each question is represented by a pie diagram, and it can also be represented using a bar graph. Underneath the chart, we have a breakdown of the answers received in a table format. Answers to open questions, such as the request for comments from our respondents, are also represented here. Each answer bears an ID number, which represents the respondent's number. We will find the ID number again in the raw data report we will download from the report screen. Scrolling down the screen, we arrive at the platform source report, where we will be able to see a breakdown of the views and questionnaire filling from each platform. We can see how many views were accumulated from mobile, how many from desktop, and of course as well the questionnaires from each device. Following that, we have a response by days graph where we can see on what days our survey was actually filled. Since our survey was only filled on the mobile, we can see the yellow overall line of responses, which converges with the blue line of mobile responses, while the red desktop line is flat. We will now go back to the report screen. From here, we can export the response raw data to an Excel file. Once the button is pressed, the Excel file will be downloaded to our computer, where we'll be able to do further analysis. This wraps up our demonstration of how to build a survey on InforUMobile. We invite you to use the platform and discover everything it has to offer. Thank you for being with us.